This video is not for whales and dolphins. It's for you, because you are just like me. Astra's Lip Gloss here, and today I want to talk to you about Astra's value. So, for starters, the news is out. We've got some info. It's confirmed now. It's on the creator beta server, and Astra is looking like our first S-rank limited support, because she basically outclasses every other support in the game, and seems like she's the obvious pick in definitely anomaly teams, but most of the time in DPS teams as well, in traditional kind of attack teams. So here's the thing though, I would describe Astra as a win more agent. And this is both good and bad, and it means that she's probably a very wise investment for the future, even if she's not super useful for you right now. But if you can't make use of her right now and your polychromes are really tight, I actually don't think it would be too crazy to skip. And we'll talk through some ideas and some different account states as to why that would make sense for you. I think if you have good teams right now, she's your logical next step. But if you don't, she's not going to fix that problem for you. Now, her kit has a lot to it, so we'll chat through that really quickly. So through her buff, she gives 1200 attack, 20% damage bonus, 25% crit damage. On top of this, she'll let you activate quick assists when switching characters with her little cord thing. She heals from her ult, and she'll let you do 2 chain attacks after her ult. And she basically does all of this while requiring little to no field time. You only need to bring her on field to do the special and then the ult as and when you need it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig into why I mentioned that win more statement from earlier by talking about my account and why Astra makes sense for this particular account, but then why it also might not make sense for you. Okay, so here is my account, and let me talk you through why Astra specifically makes sense if you have a lot of well-invested anomaly characters. Because anomaly characters function very well with buffs to their attack, which is, essentially one of the key parts of Astra's kit. So she offers a 20% damage bonus, but she's also going to offer an attack bonus as well. And some characters will scale better than that with others, and specifically anomaly characters are going to scale very well with that, and so are attack characters too. Now, this does kind of put Astra in a very sweet situation where she's pretty much the best possible support for any kind of damage dealing character. She is great with Ju-Yuan and slightly outclasses Nicole, but it's probably not worth enough to warrant the upgrade cost. But where she really excels is in the fact that she can buff the damage for multiple characters at the same time, because she's buffing everyone's attack, unlike someone like Caesar, who can only buff the attack for the on-field character, which was part of the problem when I was able to play Miyabi with Caesar, is that she could only buff one character at a time. So if you quick swap, then you're going to drop that buff off of Miyabi. So sometimes it might be beneficial to just stay on Miyabi. Now, with Astra, that's no longer a concern. So it really enables that quick swap DPS style playstyle. So in a team like a Miyabi Yanagi team or a Miyabi Bernice team, or Bernice with anyone really, because Bernice doesn't require that much field time. So Bernice Jane, something along those lines, she's going to be absolutely fantastic because she's going to be buffing both of them. And yes, the anomaly characters can't really make that much use of the crit damage buff. However, Miyabi definitely can. So Miyabi's best in slot support for the foreseeable future is almost definitely going to remain as Astra Yao. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the traditional DPS teams, and then we'll kind of open up the conversation as to why she might not be the best if you specifically don't have well-invested anomaly characters. And also, I did kind of neglect to mention this, but Piper is also an absolutely fantastic anomaly agent, and Miyabi can give up a little bit of field time for Piper, and then it means that you're also buffing Piper as well, who also benefits from the attack. So you don't need a bunch of limited S ranks. If you just have Miyabi and you have a decent Piper and you've been running them together, yeah, Astra is going to take that team to the next level. But, and again, this is coming back to that point of that win more agent idea, is that Miyabi plus one other character, maybe Sukaku or maybe Yanagi or maybe Piper even, if your pipe is well invested, kind of doesn't need anyone else. They'll be fine on their own. They don't need a whole bunch of other characters to go along with them, specifically because Miyabi is so strong. So the fact that Astra is now unequivocally Miyabi's best support, I think doesn't really sell her particularly well, because Miyabi is already so good that it doesn't really make a whole bunch of sense to invest into your Miyabi team unless you really want to run the best in slot team for Miyabi. Because you can still clear all of the content with absolutely no problem. With literally Deadly Assault, I ran it with Miyabi and Sukaku. That's it. That was my first 3-star on Deadly Assault. Because it didn't need anything else. Miyabi's so good, she could almost solo it. And then it frees up characters for your other teams. Which kind of brings me onto the point of Astra. So Astra could potentially take a team with, say, Jane, maybe Jane and Bernice, or Jane and Seth, like a Jane hypercarry situation, and bring that up because Jane is a character as well, who's an anomaly character who's going to benefit from that attack. But a bunch of these anomaly characters, as we said, they don't really benefit that much from the crit damage buff, except for Miyabi. So, yeah, Astra's best in slot team is going to be Miyabi Yanagi, I believe. However, yes, she's still going to be really useful everywhere. She will outclass Nicole in a Juyuan team as a small amount, but it's not really going to take that team to the next level. And that's what I mean by she's a win more agent. And I think if you have a bunch of decent anomaly characters on your account, it makes sense to get her, but she's not going to fix your account if you don't have them, if that's what I'm trying to get at. So let's say you just have one limited DPS, and let's say also you don't really enjoy playing Haramasa. If you're in a situation where your other side team, let's say you have one limited DPS, let's say you have Juyuan, and you have Nekomata, you kind of log back into your account, and this is the first time you're thinking about picking up a support character. I honestly think if you're not particularly enjoying Haramasa, you don't particularly like your Nekomata, and you only really have Juyuan or Ellen or Soldier 11 or something like that, then I think it kind of makes sense to just get another DPS character instead. Or if you are enjoying a character like Haramasa, then taking him to the next level by picking up Qingyi and running that instead of Ambi, which is going to be a way bigger buff for him than upgrading his support character. Here's the thing though, I'm still going to get Astra because I think that she's a good investment for the future. I think it means that your Miyabi, who is the strongest character in the game right now, unequivocally, it's not even questionable. It's going to give her a support option that's going to be available for the long term, and it means that you'll probably be able to continue to clear content with Miyabi for a very long time, power creep be damned. And it also means that it could bring another team up to a not necessarily Miyabi level, but it could bring another team up to a close to Miyabi level. I'm probably most looking forward to kind of flipping Astra around in different anomaly teams, maybe combining her with Bernice, maybe combining her with Jane, maybe combining her in Yanagi teams as well, and running Yanagi without Miyabi, and running Miyabi with maybe Bernice, and then letting Yanagi benefit a lot from having Astra on her team. And I think that seems kind of interesting to me. But I could also see that not being super interesting to a lot of players. And I could also see as well, some players feeling kind of bored with Astra. I'm not going to lie, she spends a lot of time off field from the footage that we've seen so far, and it feels a little bit like you'd just be playing with two characters, except for the fact that she comes on and she can ult, and then that's going to give you, the additional chain attacks and some heals. But it doesn't feel particularly fun. Is it more fun to spend more time on the agents that are fun? Yeah, I think Yanagi's a really fun agent to play, and I think that her skill ceiling is pretty high, and she kind of has quite a bit to manage within her kit. Miyabi, on the other hand, is really straightforward, and so is Astra. So that kind of means that you're only really playing one character. You'd just be playing Yanagi in that situation, and Yanagi benefits much more from that situation than she would from, say, Sukaku, who would be probably just buffing Miyabi directly most of the time. Yes, you can run Sukaku's buff backwards and forwards, so you could buff both Yanagi and Miyabi, but it's a little harder, and with Astra, it's just brain off. It's just brain off, just run Astra. And that's kind of where I am with the whole Astra situation. I'm going to get her because I think this should be a really good investment for the future, and I'm excited to run her in a bunch of anomaly teams. Yes, she's going to be Miyabi's best in slot support, but I don't actually think I'm going to run her that regularly with Miyabi because Miyabi really doesn't need it. And that's my point of her being a win more agent, is that she's really going to enable you to take your Miyabi to a next level when Miyabi doesn't need it. Miyabi really doesn't need it, guys. So follow-up thought then is, if you're going to get her and you don't run a bunch of anomaly teams, you've got Zhu Yuan, maybe you've got Ellen, and maybe you have like a Soldier 11 and you're thinking about whether or not you want to get Evelyn, she probably doesn't make that much of a difference over running like your Nicole. It's maybe like a 10%-ish difference from what I've seen in the damage calculations, etc. So it's probably not worth. But considering we have been in anomaly meta, I'm assuming that most players who have been playing since day one, like early accounts, and have picked up a fair few anomaly characters, I think that players who have picked up a fair few anomaly characters who like playing those anomaly characters, you will benefit from picking up Astra. But you're probably not struggling to clear the content anyway, so if someone else appeals in 1.5, I don't think it would be a big deal to not pick up Astra. And that's it. I think ultimately she enables something that seems pretty cool. I'm excited to give her a whirl and see how she works. And that's it from me. So thanks very much for watching. As always, remember to like and subscribe for better than average luck on all your pulls. Pull responsibly, stay weird. Bye.